Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Let's first start off with a look at the stories that made it to your headlines this afternoon. Arjun Aloysius and Kasun Palisena further remanded. Water board employees on strike over salary anomalies. Presidential Commission reports to be debated in Parliament tomorrow. Now, starting off with a look at your local news. The Joint Trade Union Alliance of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has launched a strike action. Convener of the alliance, Engineer Upali Ratnayaka, notes that the strike action has been launched because of the failure of authorities to provide salary increments to members of the staff.
42 trade unions have joined the strike action, demanding the removal of salary anomalies brought about in 2015. The unions also request the 2018 increments be raised by 25%. The strike action has caused disruption to the day-to-day activities of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, including customer service, maintenance and repair work.
Also in your local news, 2 people were arrested for allegedly bribing voters in return for their ballot papers in Beruwala, Kalutara.
The arrests were made by the Beruwala police yesterday evening based on a tip-off. The suspects are residents from Beruwala aged 37 and 28 and are supporters of an independent candidate contesting for the upcoming local government elections. It has been further revealed that the suspects had violated elections law by paying utility bills of the residents. The suspects are set to be produced before the Kalutara Magistrate Court.
We have received reports of 2 crimes that took place yesterday. Let's now go into the detailed report.
A warranted suspect who was absconding court orders was arrested by police last night in Makulan area in Meevala, Patana, Galevala when he had attempted to open fire at the police. A firearm, a dagger, a sword and a motorbike that were in suspect possession were also taken into police custody. The 45-year-old suspect is scheduled to be produced before the Dambulla Magistrate Court today. A 44-year-old man was murdered last night with the use of a sharp weapon. The suspects fled the crime scene in a cab. According to police, the victim had been living by himself in the Kudugammana area in Lunugamvera. Information regarding the suspect has yet to be ascertained.
We now hear of a wide range of views expressed from various political parties. The United National Party cannot come into power. The leader of the UNP couldn't have been the Prime Minister because it was our President who made him the Prime Minister by establishing the 100-day government. Recently, thieves fought with thieves in Parliament. In villages back then, there used to be cattle thieves. What they did was get drunk during the day and fight with each other at the village junction. But at night, they get together and go around stealing cattle.
Whatever the United National Party says, after the 10th of February, the UNP will not be able to form a government. Who are the people with? Never did we think that the village would get a carpeted road. We never thought whoever travelled in the mud would get a concrete layered road. All this was done during Mahinda Rajapaksa's government.
Building roads was the only thing that was done. They do nothing else. They don't go into constructing buildings or libraries and preschools because with buildings it is difficult to take commissions or take a cut. Once a building plan is made, a 9-inch building wall should be 9 inches. If it should be 9 feet tall, it should be 9 feet tall. If they say they are going to use mahogany timber, they have to use it. When requirements are met, it is difficult to steal. Therefore, they don't like constructing buildings, so they build roads. They love it. They make roads, but it is the road that breaks.
Anand Kumar said that in order to build a port city in Colombo, the Mount Sigiriya should be brought down to supply the sufficient stones. Now is it from Sigiriya that rocks are being brought to build the port city? Taxes upon taxes on the local entrepreneurs and tax concession to foreign entrepreneurs. They said they will build a new country in 100 days. Instead, after 100 days, a coconut is 100 rupees, rice is 100 and chilies are 100. This government has no plan to listen to the pulse of the people. When India comes and says something, they agree to that. When China comes and asks for something, they agree to that as well.
We became poor, making Mahinda Rajapaksa, his family and his ministers rich. That is why our country became poor. That is why we are entangled in a heap of loans. The first son damaged the father and the country. What did the second son do? He joined the forces and destroyed its reputation. When both of them were useless, they have now sent the youngest. When we were in school, we used to make paper rockets. They must be thinking that sending rockets to space is as easy as that.
Now they are dancing as if in a competition. Amidst all the dancing, we see the laptop dance. People are finding it difficult to make ends, but they are engaged in all kinds of dancing.
The national state level function is held in the month of June in the Mihintale electorate in celebration of Poson. But there is no public toilet. There is no point in building something like a toilet because they have to build to a certain standard, because people from all over the country would be attending this festival. Digging the tank is better than that. 4 million was spent. They started digging the tank before 2 rainy seasons. They stopped digging and the 4 million goes into their pockets.
What happened to the previous government? When one thief steals, they protect him. The second thief also stole. He was too protected. The third also went ahead and he was also protected. At the end, even the Pradesh Sabha member turned into a thief. No work can be done without an offer of bribes. Even to get a file open at a government office, some payment must be made.
Australians grow green peas and chickpeas and send it to us. They grow apples and grapes and send it to Velavaya. We eat it and our money goes to their country. Their farmers become rich. Tell us one grain that the UNP and SLFP rulers who govern this country started exporting. There is nothing, but they sent your mother and sister to Arabian countries as domestic aids. Our boys were sent to odd jobs in Korea.
They must select a person who understands the pulse of the village man. It is not only for the show that President Maithripala Sirisena buys an air ticket when travelling abroad, or not allow his family to use helicopters. I told Maithripala Sirisena that I feel sorry for him. He asked me why. I said, you're going to lose, and not only that, he will not let your family be. He said, no SB, I'm going to win. He will get the 1.2 million votes that would never go to the UNP.
In local news, owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Arjun Aloysius, and CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Kasun Palisena, have been further remanded until the 16th of this month. The duo were remanded after being produced before Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna this morning. The Criminal Investigations Department arrested the suspects at around 6:30 a.m. last morning. Arjun Aloysius was arrested at his residence located in Flower Road, Colombo. Kasun Palisena was arrested at his house located in Velavata. The suspects were produced before the Fort Magistrate last night and were ordered to be placed in remand custody until this morning. They were produced before the Fort Magistrate once again this morning.
Attorney at Law Kalinga Indertissa, appearing on behalf of both the suspects, presented facts to court. And in addition, on behalf of the Criminal Investigations Department, it was Additional Solicitor General Yasanta Kodagoda who presented facts in court. Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna, taking into account the facts presented by both sides, requested the counsel for the suspects to make written submissions within 2 days, and thereafter, Additional Solicitor General Yasanta Kodagoda informed court that he would respond to those written submissions 2 days after being given those submissions by the counsel for the suspect. And thereafter, once again, the case will be taken up on the 7th of February for these submissions to be handed over. However, the suspects will be remanded until the 16th of February 2018. I'm Zulfikar Farzan reporting for News First from the Fort Magistrates Court Complex.
In more local news now, President Maithripala Sirisena made a plea to politicians during a public rally in Arnagangwila, Polonnaruwa yesterday.
I challenge the other political leaders to come and have a debate with me on fraud, corruption, theft and murder. The war ended in 2009, yet how many disappearances were reported after 2010? How many people were killed on the roads? How many journalists were killed? How many fled the country? They set fire to media institutions like Sirasa and Sieta. Over the past 3 years under my tenure, there hasn't been a single disappearance. Journalists were not killed or had no reason to leave the country. Media institutions were not set on fire. I want to create a group of clean politicians who will love the people. Help me strengthen this movement. Don't strengthen me personally, but support this policy that stands against fraud, corruption, theft, murder and nepotism. I can take this forward.
And that's all the news we've got for you on Lunchtime News today. Do join us again at 1:55 for the very latest. Signing off for the News First team, I'm Charlotte Benedict. Have yourselves a great day.